Well, good morning and welcome to 9 Straight Up. We are here again, ready to get going.
Good morning.
And we're talking today about strength, superpower strength, once again.
Yeah.
Which is always so fun, to tap into your strength. So the greatest strength of a person is to follow their own belief, and their greatest weakness is to follow others' decision that they make for them. And I thought that was so amazing. Good morning, Michael. It's so amazing. If you follow your own belief, you're true to yourself. Good morning, Keith. But if you follow what other people want, the decisions they make for you,
you don't fulfill your own strength.
Right. So tapping into your own strength is what is more important than
Good morning, Dad.
Following other things. Good morning, Andy. But if you're having trouble identifying your own strengths, you can kind of look around at other people. For instance, nerd to superhero, what we talked about this morning, Warren Buffett. He had asked to volunteer with a man that he really idolized, and he said, I will give you my time. I'll do anything to work with you, to learn from you. He was turned down. I don't even know how many times he was turned down, but he kept going back and he kept saying, can I learn more? So that's strength.
It is. And also a book that I just started listening to yesterday and this morning was actually a story about Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk is a controversial individual in my opinion, and just wanted to learn more about him, try to change my own perception of the man, to see what his biography says about himself. And it's just, again, I just started listening to the book yesterday, and the one thing that I did find interesting, that he was a nerd growing up, and he was abused growing up in school. He was picked on, he was bullied, and it doesn't sound like he had a very good home life as well with his stepfather. And so it's interesting to see where he didn't let other people dictate what his strengths were. He was able to surpass that and become. I don't want to call him a superhero, but he is doing some interesting things around the world.
Some good things. I always think about, what is that, iRobot? Is it going in the right direction? I'm praying it goes in the right direction. So I think that's why you're saying he's so controversial.
Right, SpaceX, and how he's trying to colonize Mars in the future. He's just creating the base of trying to create colonize Mars.
Right. So it's interesting. So many people who have grown up as nerds or had so many difficulties in life and then now are doing great things. As a kid, you would look at them and think, how are they going to even survive? And now they're doing these amazing things in life. So what do you think your strengths are? If you had to tap into yours today, what would they be? I know we think of bodybuilders, weightlifters. I always think of Karay, the girl who did the vault. And I don't even think her ankle was working. She had injured it so badly. But she landed that vault and then had to be carried off. But they made it to the finals, and she did great things.
Yeah, and I think with that vault, she helped the team win the gold.
Right. So, very good. And that was amazing physical and mental strength, because she knew she was injured, but she knew she had to do it for her team. They were relying on her. So we have to tap into physical, mental, spiritual, all different strengths in life. So what is your strongest and what is your weakest? That's what we're going through today.
Yeah, and what do you focus on?
And then I also think of the little grandmas or little women when a toddler is stuck under a car or something and they just go over and pick it up. Where does that come from? So that strength that we all have inside of us that sometimes we don't even realize until we really need it, that's what we need to tap into each day, to learn to tap into that and figure out how we can be better than we even think we can be.
Right.
So, or how about a single mom? A single mom who provides for her family, who gets up every morning. It's difficult to have that pressure on you to be able to provide for your family, to keep going. So I commend them and their strength as well. So what do you think of being strong? What is strong in your life? If you had to pick strength, what would your strength be?
You always ask me these questions. what would my strength be? I guess it's just, I don't know. I'd have to.
You need more time.
Yeah.
I think calmness. You stay calm in a lot of situations, so I think that's a strength.
A lot of different trials and tribulations over my life. So yeah, I think I have, you're right. I've learned to just slowly adapt and weigh the situation and know there's an extreme to the right and an extreme to the left, and just try to take the middle road.
Yes, that's good. Okay.
But I wanted to also share with you is that, and I remember I shared this with you a couple weeks ago, I read it somewhere, was that the mind holds the key to everything.
Yes, I love that one. Yes. So often we think of the strengths, but then we focus on our weaknesses, and we're always trying to up the weaknesses rather than working into the strengths, rather than pouring into the strengths. So it's kind of a happy medium. Where are you with it? But there's 3 different areas of strength: spiritual, mental, and physical. And what are you looking at?
I'm just listening.
And really spiritual, what is your foundation built upon? When things are really bad and they're going bad, or when you're celebrating, when they're really great, what do you lean on? What do you put your focus on and say, thank you for this? Or your mental strength, which is your mindset. When things are going great, when things are going bad, what do you turn to in your mind? Like, this always happens to me. I always say the dark cloud. Are you standing under a dark cloud, or are you allowing yourself to get over it? Or physical strength, getting to the gym, or building your abs in the kitchen, as they always say. Abs aren't built in the gym, but in the kitchen. So physical strength, how is that? And then there's strength of spirituality and humanity, of wisdom, of knowledge, and courage, and then control, mental and physical.
Mm-hmm.
Control is a big one.
It is
Strength of control. And a lot of people have different problems with weight, with completing something in that, and it's really control. So let's go ahead and start with spiritual strength.
Okay.
To me, that I brought my book, the Bible is my spiritual strength. To rest on that.
Well, sort of
Ours, yes. I guess I'm looking at everyone's individual strength, but yes. So faith, gratitude, humor, appreciation, love, kindness, social intelligence, valuing those around you, or being aware of the feelings of others, getting out of your own head and serving others, those acts of kindness.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you place your foundation on when the chips are down? Where do you get your strength? And in the Bible, there's so many verses on strength, you can go on and on. But like Chronicles, look to the Lord in his strength and seek his face always. Or in Isaiah, do not fear, for I am with you. And then I will strengthen you and help you. Or Deuteronomy, I always have trouble with that. I always trip over it. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. So those are some great verses. And then, so think, what do you stand on? What is your spiritual strength? So also strength and wisdom, knowledge and courage, bravery. And like I said, the woman lifting up that little boy from the car. There's so many stories about that. These tiny little women who can do that, and they don't know how they did it. Or persistence.
Mm-hmm.
Persistence in all areas of life.
And integrity. Integrity is a big one.
Yes.
Now, how do you act when you're alone, and how do you act in public? If it's the same, that's good. But if you're 2 totally different people, you got to reevaluate who you are and try to strengthen your values and figure them out.
Right. Be the same person.
Be consistent.
Yes. And good morning. Is it Yowie? You can pronounce that for me.
Yowie.
Okay, I like it. Good morning. Great of you to join us. And then strength of control. That's a biggie.
Strength of control. It could be a lot of different ways.
It could be.
Your anger, celebration.
Right.
What else?
In the kitchen, so many people are fighting with weight or fighting with spending money. I guess addictions.
Speeding.
Yeah. Everything. Good morning, Linda. Strength of control. So how are you controlling yourself, and what strength are you leaning on to help you to do so? So good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, John. And good morning, Vern. So take your strength, something you enjoy, and pour into it. Whatever it is, pour into that strength and help to get the job done. Imagine if you focused on your strengths each day and you figured out what you could do stronger and better every day.
And not let yourself be limited to your weaknesses and focus on those.
Right. And did you know that only 20% of employees in large organizations feel that they are using their strengths every day? Only 20%. Can you imagine if every employee was tested on the way in to figure out what their strengths were, and they were put in that line of work, and the weaknesses, someone else came in and that was their strengths, how much better that organization would be, how much they could really...
Productive,
yes,
quality of life for everybody at work.
Mm-hmm. So focus on your strengths. I'm not saying forget about your weaknesses, still work on those, but focus on the good areas, the strong areas. And where I was reading this is a great book. I know it's going to be backwards on there. Now Discover Your Strengths. It's a good one. But it talks about the, I'll think of that. It talks about the strengths and how we so often will look at an employee or look at a friend and see the weaknesses instead. Focus on the strength. Yeah. I don't know. They go back and forth. Is coffee good? Is coffee bad? So who knows where it is today, but I don't think it's a weakness.
It's in my hand today.
Yes, it's a good thing today. So many are strong at becoming entrepreneurs, and let's say Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, do you think they are trying to muddle through their weaknesses, or do you think they're charging forward with their strengths?
Well, yeah, even Jeff Bezos from Amazon.
Yes.
He's charging full on. And I can only imagine him at work and with his vice presidents and executive vice presidents and the decisions that they're making and how they want to continue to grow Amazon to just, in a sense, world domination. It's really, they've spread out to everywhere. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think those, or even Google, they have their campuses. They have different ways of being for the creative mind to let them rest and let them work at different hours. They have beanbag rooms or whatever else they're doing.
Right.
They are working towards their employees' strengths.
Right, and we always think of that when we think of our son Matthew, because he always says, I can't sit behind a desk for 8 hours. He needs to be up, he needs to be moving, and that's what Google's doing. They're looking at these employees and saying, with a creative mind, you have to be up and moving and thinking and really engaging in different things. So they're working on those strengths with them instead of tying them down to a desk and saying you have to produce here at this little desk. Instead, they get them moving around. So that's a very good comparison. The other thing I thought about, like, let's say health and fitness is a weakness. Okay, so hire a trainer. Take yourself, in a sense, out of the equation. Hire a trainer, a nutritionist, and get an accountability group that will help you to stay on track. If you have to look at someone and say, here's my menu for the day, this is what I consumed, you're going to think about it, and that weakness of you taking a bite can turn into a strength when you have to look at someone and tell them, this is what I did today. Why are you smiling at me like that?
Because as you're saying that, I'm thinking, okay, imagine putting a food journal in front of a nutritionist. Yeah, I had a king-size Snickers bar today.
Yeah, or a huge piece of fudge. Yeah, so that's what I mean. If you allow yourself to work on those strengths and hire out or get someone who can help you with the weaknesses, then you're focusing on the things that make you who you are, the strong things.
Yeah,
so,
or look at the professional, basketball players, football players, all the professional sports. You think they're doing it on their own? Yes, they have God-given abilities that better than most, but they definitely have trainers. They have mentors. The ones who succeed and last the longest, they've figured it out and they've looked for help and asked for help and hired help and whatever they've done. Tom Brady hasn't made it 20-some years in the NFL just because, of his talents. He was a 6th-round draft pick. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he has, great abilities, but he's also had great coaching.
And he has a chef, and he has a wife who watches him, and he has a trainer.
But he didn't have that at the beginning.
He didn't, but I mean, now he has the people that ensure that his strengths are propelled forward, because all the little things that he couldn't worry about, he doesn't have time, which probably time, it's not a weakness, but he's lack of time because he's so busy. So he has people that fills in.
And it's interesting, as we're talking about this, I'm looking at it and thinking, we always go back to point out a professional athlete. Mm-hmm. Today we've talked about some of the great CEOs of our time right now. But I think the only reason why we're really going to the professional athletes is because they're the most publicly people out there that we can all.
They know they're well known.
We all know them, and we see their success. We see Kobe Bryant on the foul line after he snapped his Achilles tendon. He should have just gone into the locker room, but did he? No. He had a coach and he had a mentor that instilled a killer mentality, a deeper killer mentality than Kobe Bryant ever had. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to finish that foul because he just got fouled. He wanted to get that extra point. He made the shot, then he went to the locker room, and then I think he was out for a year and a half recouping that Achilles tendon.
Right, that's an amazing story.
So, I mean, yeah, the professional athletes are, just, they're a different breed, but they're also the most publicly aware people that we can point to help exaggerate our points and what they do and how they do it by, hiring mentors.
Right. And if you look at those professional athletes, many of them, or these successful entrepreneurs, you can see they came from humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. And some of them were downright, how did they even get out of there? Living in the projects, growing up single mom who could barely even get by. They were sleeping on different couches and that. So to hear their beginning and to know that they tapped into that strength to get through the day. I mean, every day they had to do it.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I love pointing them out, to hear their stories. And just, if you ever need inspiration, go back through and look at those stories, read those stories about the athletes and how they did it. But my suggestion is, like, hire a coach, hire a trainer, or if you're trying to write a book, get a mentor who's done it before. Someone who has gone the path before you. Tap into their strength and allow it to become your strength. So 4 ways to tap into your strength: develop a clear plan. If you need a mentor or coach, tap into them. Find out how they did it and develop your plan. And consistency. That's huge.
It's tough. I mean, we all struggle with it. Well, at least I know I struggle with consistency.
Right. And one of the examples in the book that I read was, you can be a great bowler, you can go and bowl and get a few strikes, but if you can't do it consistently every single day, it's not a strength. So you must be consistent at it. And then also daily mindset practices. And that I used my journal, which I showed you before. This is daily mindset practices. You have to tap into it and focus on where you're going each day. Focus on the long-term goal, the short-term goal. So it's daily.
Right.
I thought you had something to add, but no. Okay, so drop by my website. I am starting a class next week, I Am Strong, and I'd love you to be a part of it. We have a great group going in, and we're all going to gather around each other. We're going to help with their weaknesses, grow our strengths, and really go after the goals we want.
And what is your website?
My website is theiamseries.com, and you'll go through and you can see all the different classes. But next week we start I Am Strong. I'd love you to be a part of it. So all of you have a great, amazing, strength-filled day. Yep. Do you have anything to add?
Stay consistent. Actually, I do want to add one little thing.
Okay.
It's off where we are, but it's along the same line. Over the past week or so, Ann and I, we were up in Michigan, and then we were back down here on Sunday. But I just got to say, we've been so blessed in the last week, because we've always been blessed. I mean, for years we've been blessed. But this past week, we were able to bump into some friends that we haven't seen in 10, 15 years. Ralph and Lori. Luis Martinez, I ran into at a meeting the other day. I also ran into the Cotans, Mike and Roseanne Cotan. Call you guys out. Mike and Barb Evans had dinner with you guys last week up in Michigan. And Heidi, and to meet your girls and spend some time with you guys. I just want to tell you I appreciate the opportunity to run into you guys and remember the seasons that we had, that we were together more often and seeing each other more often. But I just wanted to call you guys out and say it was good seeing all of you. And I want to also wish all the Karays and the Sharduls and Shanonases for a great family reunion tomorrow. Sorry that we can't make it, but we'll be down here in South Florida and hoping that you guys have a great weather and great time. But again, this is for Ann. I just want to thank you for letting me come on.
Okay. Good morning, Steve. Nice to see you.
And jump and steal your show.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. It was really about strength and keeping those relationships. I think that's what John's trying to say. Those relationships in life are key. So you guys all have a great day, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Bye.